event.
I thought that was the NPR Texas trip.
I mean, yeah, it was the NPR Texas trip, but Billy Jenkins is right. This is a crossover event, one of many.
Well, now we got to be on like our best behavior because the Podfather is watching.
The Podfather is watching. We see you, Burke.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. What's your take on Master of Puppets being #1 on iTunes?
I mean, I'm for it, but wondering why.
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
Is it really?
There was this, yeah. I've never even seen the show, but I went and looked up the actual scene that everyone was like freaking out about, and Jake was like, "This is the coolest thing ever," and I watched it, and then I mean, without context, I was kind of like, "All right."
Well, don't ruin it for me because I just started watching it. Anna Marie is kind of like holding me at gunpoint, and she. It's funny. Master Puppets came on her like Spotify, and I was like, "You're listening to Metallica?" And she's like, "It's on the Stranger Things playlist."
All the hipsters are furious.
It's fine.
Even though that's like the most next to Enter Sandman, that's like the most popular Metallica song ever. So it's really not like some hidden gem deep cut.
No, but that is one of the greatest albums of all time. I mean, Battery, Orion, like that album is just money.
Ride the Lightning, man. Ride
the Lightning was cool. Best part of Ride the Lightning, Call of Cthulhu. Hands down. So here we are.
That's why we had Roddy solve like put in his 2 cents and give us the final take on which album was the best, and he agreed that it was Ride the Lightning.
I respect him. I respect him as a musician. I respect him as a herper and breeder, but he's fucking wrong. Let's just be real here.
I don't think so.
Podfather says it's crazy how he says now I know how my parents felt when their songs came back. That's awesome.
Same with Kate Bush.
Yep.
Kate Bush made a comeback now too because of, I guess, I don't know if that one on Stranger Things too.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go figure. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, what's funny is like I was saying, we were listening to Anne Marie's Spotify, and we were talking about the whole Kate Bush thing, and she was like, imagine like you have a top hit on the charts and you're making millions of dollars, and then like 25, 30 years later, you do it again. Like, how awesome is that? That's pretty cool.
I doubt she makes nearly as much money as she did then, because
she probably
like,
making
0.00001% of a penny.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Think about how many more millions of people there are now opposed to 30 years ago. It's a lot more people listening.
Yeah.
The revenue is still, it's nothing, man. I took a history of popular music class, and they showed a graph
slaughtered it
of like all the revenue in the music industry, and it's just steady iTunes happens and then it just completely tanks.
Really?
Just nothing.
Damn Napster, LimeWire. The number of computers.
Let's not forget about Kazaa.
LimeWire.
Dude, Kazaa was the jam.
That must have been before my time.
And then for my generation, it was converting the YouTube videos to MP3 files.
Yeah. I've still done that a few times because there's a couple Deftones tracks that never got put on any CD or anything, but of course they're on YouTube, and so I'm like snagging those links and downloading the.
It is a good little trick. Yeah. Get past the paywall. 99 cents is too much for a kid.
Well, what I thought was crazy is I have I don't know where the hell it is now. I got to find it, but I had it was a Black Sabbath 33, but it was one of those paper ones that come like on a paper sheet. Like the vinyl was attached to this like paper border. And I think it was We Sold Our Souls to Rock and Roll or something like that. And hopefully Burke can help me out on this one. And I remember listening to it a billion times as a kid. And then I downloaded We Sold Our Souls to Rock and Roll or whatever album it was on iTunes. And there was like 2 extra songs. And I was like, what are these songs? They're fantastic. They were kind of like medley, And then I realized that there's a gap. And the reason why they put that 33 on like that paper border was because there's a gap in the vinyl. So you had to lift the needle and then put it back down on the next section. And you got those extra songs. I was like, this is freaking amazing, So I got to dig it out and make sure it has that, So, but it is
Monday night.
It's Monday night. Monday night.
If you're looking at us, it's Monday.
You are. And the time is right for Snakes and Stogies. Episode
129.
129.
Say it with conviction.
Say it with passion, emphasis.
You seemed like you were hesitant.
Well, I was trying to sync it. I'm Ron Burgundy. So I was trying to
San Diego.
Yeah. The arsonist has oddly shaped feet. The Human Torch was denied.
The garden gnome had an unusually shaped penis.
Oh.
I didn't need to know that about Eric.
Whoa. Hachi machi.
Well, this show is brought to you by the wonderful people at Puget Sound Pythons. Check them out. Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. Good people. Had them on not that long ago. You can go back and listen to what they've been up to and what they've been doing. And then BlackBoxCages.com. I'm the giant Sasquatchy billboard this evening, wearing my shirt.
Yeah, you are.
And check them out, Facebook and Instagram, BlackBoxCages.com. Racks, cages, all the cool stuff. You need it. And we love them.
We do.
All that we do. But obviously tonight we're joined
by Phil.
Oh, other way. There we go. Yeah, by this blank space. Oh, look, now it does it. Jesus. Lucas Lee.
You can always move his head.
And
say that one more time because I cut you off.
It's Lucas from the NPR gang.
Oh,
there he is.
There we go.
There he is. Center
Hello.
stage.
Hey guys, gentlemen.
We've been trying to make this happen for a minute, and I think Lee's been dodging us. He's like, man, I don't want to.
Not at all.
These fucking colubrid guys, get out of here.
Jesus, Justin's gonna ask me about Ackees and Kim's.
I'm definitely more a colubrid guy than I am a boa guy, so we're all good.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, this is
no problem.
No boas here, my friend.
Yeah. No, but it's
a little bit.
It's great to talk to you guys. Thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah, man. It's Absolutely. A pleasure.
Joining of the snakes and substances themed podcasts.
Yes,
in a way.
Yes.
I'm telling you, man, I can see it sometime in the next 5 to 10 years. THN, NPR network, it's just gonna mold into one gigantic global takeover. And he said, Phil, put a Detroit Tiger hat on, you'll nail Magnum PI. I called him Miami Vice earlier.
Yeah, I actually I admitted to Smitty. You know what? I'll do it publicly. Fuck it. I am a major closet I'm a major closet Miami Vice fan. So when he's like, "Oh man, you're looking very Don Johnson in that shirt," I was like, "Dude, it is hot as shit in Florida, and I'm feeling comfortable."
I look like Stanley when they were in Tallahassee in the office.
Gee, thanks.
You got humid heat?
Still got all my hair. Oh yeah, it's like
always.
90, it's like 92 right now, and like 100% humidity.
That's
disgusting. Nope.
So, but we went out road cruising cane fields last night, and it was bumping with gigantic male pygmies. So it was awesome.
Sick.
Yeah, man. Like legit 18, 20-inch pygmies. Saw 2 monsters. It was awesome. It was a good time.
That's fantastic.
So that fresh August swampy humidity brings them all out. So we Smitty, what are you smoking tonight?
I just lit up a Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Mike Rita Tricky Traca.
Tricky Traca.
It's the red band version, so it's a little different than the regular Mike Rita that I've talked about. I've had both these before on the show, but this one's just got a little more zing to it. It's a little spikier flavor wise, just a little sharper. It's got some more teeth to it than the Mike Rita does. Not as smooth, but
it's got a little bite.
It's got a little bite.
Got a little bite. That's good.
And I got Esteban Carrera Covenant as sort of my number 2, which this is like my favorite Esteban Carrera stick. If you see these, grab one. They are very, very, very good. Yeah. I love them. Like it took a long time for me to convince Raj to get these in because I was like, dude, this is seriously, I'm not even kidding, like the best cigar they make. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And then finally I told the rep when he came in, I was like, please tell Raj to get these in because they're freaking good. And they showed up and they've been selling. So
excellent.
I know what I'm talking about. How bizarre.
How bizarre.
Strange. Weird.
Yeah, right. I am smoking the Warhead 601 La Bomba.
Nice.
These all have such great names. Makes me
They
want
do.
to start.
And I was going to ask you, Smitty, because I don't think I've ever noticed this before, but when I already cut this, but on cigars that have the little balloon knot or little pig nose, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
I just noticed that on this one, it's got like, I don't want to say a vein of tobacco coming down it, but I don't know if you can see that.
It's got the little rat tail kind of thing.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh.
You see it? Now,
is it an actual vein or is it just a piece like rolled?
I think it's fine rolled. I mean, it looks like it's fine rolled.
There's a couple of brands that take like the excess and they like twist it and then they fold it over the side. I couldn't tell you why they do that. A lot of the ones that have the little top knot, like cigars that have a man bun, you just rip that off. You do it counterclockwise to the roll so it doesn't mess up the wrapper. But that's meant to be so you can just twist it off and you don't have to have a cutter. So like when you see Papas Fritas, like Dylan is smoking.
Yeah.
The Esteban Carrera Hellcats have that. It's just meant to be twisted off. You know, the Gurkhas, the Cellar Reserves all have that.
Yes.
You're just supposed to just be able to twist it and without having to cut it. But I find it's just messy, and it doesn't. You just end up with a bunch of little particulate in your mouth.
I wanted to bring that up because I had never noticed it before, and I thought it was very interesting. But at the same time, I V-cut it just because I have that Calibri cutter that you gave me, and I love that friggin' thing. But I thought this was really cool because oftentimes when you cut through a cap, at least for me, when I cut through a cap, I can't really see too much of the binder or filler. But on this one, I cut it just right. I did not cut through the cap per se, but you can see the different hues of the filler and binder in there, which I thought that just shows me that this thing is perfect. So I'm very excited. It's like slightly box pressed, and I'm stoked. It's good.
Yeah, now, that's how you can see the Lajeros and stuff in the filler and binder. The filler in particular, they keep the stronger parts of the tobacco are usually in the smallest amounts, and they're in the center because the combustion and stuff has to match the outside, which is going to burn faster. So you want the inside to burn a little slower, but the outside to burn faster. But you want them all to sort of work in symphony and burn at the same rate. So it's very scientific.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Now, on a side note, well, not side note, but part of this is our dear friend, our dear guest, our esteemed guest, Mr. Lucas, does not imbibe in the nasty, dangerous, cancer-providing vices.
They're not cancerous.
I have smoked things. I've never hopped over to cigar land. I'm a little timid to do that.
Like wine, man.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that I'm going to breathe it in too much and then yak because I've seen that happen a lot.
You only have to do it once to never want to do it again.
What's funny is when you've been doing it for, decades and then you accidentally do it. You're like, oh, what did I just do?
Oops.
But
no, I love the smell. My next door neighbor growing up was a big cigar guy out on the porch every night. And I'd always just be like, Bob's out there. It smells good.
Nice.
But
Bob sounds like a stand-up fella.
I'm convinced public smoking of cigars should be a thing again, just like in Mad Men.
Yes,
absolutely.
Or like Goodfellas or something. It's like you see them just hanging out in restaurants smoking cigars. I'm like, man, like
it's calming.
Yeah.
Like I feel repelled by cigarette smoke most of the time, but cigar smoke's a different story for sure.
Yep.
Well, seeing as how you're not a tobacco guy, you are, however, an artist of the bean.
God.
No.
So what are you drinking tonight, Bubba?
Well, I knew that this is a cigar show and I don't partake. So I tried, to up my game a little bit and not just be drinking out of a can. So my girlfriend
broke out the fine china.
He did. He legit did.
We got takeout Vietnamese and they had young coconut on the menu. So I got that. I drank the coconut water and then I filled it with a gin and tonic.
Oh, absolutely. So now what kind of gin and what kind of tonic?
It's Hendrix, I want to say.
Beautiful.
For the gin.
Normal Hendrix? Black bottle?
I'd have to go grab it, but I'm pretty sure just normal.
Black bottle. Love it. Good stuff.
And then nothing fancy on the tonic.
No.
just yellow bottle.
It's fine, man. It's fine. Very few of us these days still get down with the pine needles, so I commend you.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, again, snakes and substances. We all got something going on.
Vipers
I do
and
love
spices.
to drink.
Yeah.
I'm about to have to refill this nut in a minute.
Yeah.
It's Scott Ipers in the chat. He says, "Done to get Coca Loco."
I think what he said earlier is ice cold coconuts are the best, and he could see Casey getting down with some margaritas in a coconut.
Casey is like the Keith Richards of the group, man. Like homeboys are gonna be in Daytona climbing up coconut.
That's my
trees
new
and falling out of them, and
it's my new classmate.
It is. It is.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah. Big ups to Casey.
Gonna come hang with
Getting
Papa
all
Loafman.
Professional and shit. Ugh.
He was telling me about some of the stuff he's planning on doing. It's going to be really cool. I'm stoked for him to have the resources to get some really cool work done.
That's awesome. That's cool.
I amusingly messaged Loafman and was like, how do you become one of your grad students if you never even graduated? I was like, what do I got to do? And his response was fairly vague, but I think it was kind of more or less like, go back to school, dude. Like, okay, and that's out then. Yeah,
I know he was talking about trying to structure something where he could do like a certification program kind of thing, right? Like the herpetology coursework, but not as like a graduate program, but just like a cert. I think that'd be really cool.
Something to add to a resume or something. You know?
For sure. Yeah.
I'd get one.
Hell yeah. He's the best. I love that guy. I bother him daily.
Yeah, I got to hit him back up about those stick-to-steps.
The what?
The Outer Banks. Outer Banks king snakes, bro.
King snakes. Good.
Yeah, come on.
Outer Banks, I'm thinking tuna,
Wrong banks.
Sand.
wrong banks.
I do love a king snake.
Yeah.
It's been funny watching him just go nuts with the king snakes. Like, I feel it's almost like an overnight thing. Like, he just snapped his fingers and poof, nothing but a room full of psychotic kings.
He sent me his Lake Chapala garter snakes to make room for king snakes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Smitty, how goes it in your spring into summer, eggs into snakes? What's going on there, Bubba?
It's hot as hell and I'm tired of it. Fall and winter couldn't get here soon enough. I'm sorry, but the heat is horrible. I'll be cold any day in comparison to heat. It's miserable. It sucks. Other than that, last two of the Loma Alta Bairds were out of egg today when I got home from work, so I went ahead and set them up. Had 100% hatch rate on those. That was 8 eggs.
Nice.
Those babies are, in comparison to corn snake babies, those things are nuts. Like, they're fat. They're just way chunkier. I mean, they're almost I would think they come out almost the same size that a corn would after like 6 months.
Wow.
If you had a 6-month-old corn hatch out of an egg, that's what it would.
Yeah, but now were the eggs comparable in size to corn? Or
no, they're bigger. They're bigger.
Are they like yellow rat snake eggs?
I've never seen yellow rat snake eggs. I couldn't.
Okay, little wider in diameter, little more oblong.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I don't know. It seems me and Chris Painchab were having a whole conversation the other day about that and like desert species and how they have. It seems, at least from what we've noticed with things like the Mealmorum and stuff like that and the Bairds.
Yeah.
They have smaller clutches, but the eggs are huge.
Yeah.
And the shells seem to be a little thicker. And I don't know, we were just kind of spitballing the whole thing about, environment playing a factor into why that is the way it is, surface area, like water retention and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting because I mean, it was the same thing with chondro eggs and Jake's Papuan eggs. Like that female chondro was twice the size of that Papuan. She laid twice as many eggs, but they were half the size of the Papuan eggs.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. It's just bizarre, but Yeah, I mean everyone hatched, everyone looks good. I only ended up with one of the het hypos. So that one hatched, and then the other egg didn't pip after like 2 days, so I went ahead and cut it, and there's a snake in there. It's not full term, but it's very late term. Like none of the color or pattern has come in yet, so it's just like a pink thing.
Okay.
Like it's very clearly a snake. It's just not.
It's not ready.
It's not ready, and so I put it back in that box, and I've left it be, and I've checked on it periodically and candled it, and like the veins and stuff are all still red, so there's still like oxygenated blood happening. I'm just gonna let it ride and see what happens. I mean, I didn't poke it with anything or anything like that because I didn't want to introduce any sort of bacteria into the actual albumin or something. So I don't know, but we'll see. I don't have high expectations, but it'd be interesting to see if you can cut an egg that early and have something still develop.
Yeah,
I can add to that conversation.
Well, and that's I was going to segue. I was going to segue to that, Lucas. But I was going to say is like as long as everything is sterile and like contained, and you're not cross contaminating anything. You see, like those Japanese students, they grow chickens in literally like
and that's
a cupcake tin.
That's what I thought was like they grow it in like a Ziploc bag, suspended, covered over. I mean, Lucas, if you can chime in on that.
So I don't have anything scientific, but I fucked up. I don't know if you guys heard on the last.
I heard. We heard. We heard. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was going to ask you about it. So, and I saw your. Actually, let me rephrase that. When you and I spoke a couple of days ago, I wasn't going to ask you about it because I was like, oh, that could be really sensitive. right. Yeah. And salt in the wound. Geez, pouring vodka in the wound. So,
yeah.
And then I was like, oh, man, look at the picture he posted today on Instagram. Now we get to talk about it. So take it away, sir.
So I got really fortunate and got that clutch of Western blackhead eggs this year. But the majority of them went bad immediately.
They just weren't fertile.
They looked great, right? And I candled them. They all had perfect vasculature. It all seemed fertile and good. But right off the bat, day one, just after that first 12 hours at night, all but one of the eggs started leaking fluid out of a discoloration in the egg, and it just kept getting worse and worse, right? So like by day 20, the majority of them looked toast, just deflated, discolored, losing moisture. Eventually they started turning blue and green and gross, all except for this one egg that was completely unaffected by all the nastiness. So, fast forward a lot of time, every time an egg got disgusting, I took it out and chopped it open because it was obviously dead. And, there were little nickel quarter size embryos in there that at some point were going to be good, but had clearly been dead for a while. All the albumin's cheesy and hard and gross.
Yeah.
So, no question that those were toast. So then day 56 comes around and there's still 3 hanging on, 2 of which had been looking nasty for a long time. And in my panic looking for help, I got the advice to smear Elmer's glue on them. I tried that. I did Neosporin. That was a Loafman suggestion to try and control the bacteria. And I got up for field work at 4 a.m, and I was just depressed because it was 4 a.m.
I was gonna say there's your first problem.
Yes. And then I looked at the eggs and I got depressed because they were just such a sad sight. So I cut them because I was convinced that they were dead, and they were all alive. But here I am cutting the damn things on day 56, knowing good and well that Julander told me not to do that, and his went 75. So, I felt like the biggest idiot on the planet for sure. But one of them looks okay and hatched today. And
is that really dark one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it definitely seems
awesome,
like.
By the way.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Yeah, I hope she makes it because that pattern is pretty awesome. She doesn't look like mom or dad, but that was the one egg. That particular animal was the egg that never had any issues. But I still cut it too soon. And, even her, she didn't quite absorb all of the yolk. There's a little nub still sticking out of the belly, but nothing that seems like it's going to be problematic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas a few days before this one of the babies in the nastiest egg crawled out and died, still
Damn.
attached to kind of a hardened yolk. And then the last one of the three is looking good, is alive and left the egg on its own, but has a whole lot of yolk still outside of its body. So right now I've got it in a moist deli container, and I'm just going to leave it with, wet paper towels in the incubator for a few days to either absorb more of that shit or have it die. And then if that becomes grody, I'll cut the cord literally and hope for the best.
I had that happen with a lot of chondro babies with that first clutch. Is I had plenty that got out of the egg, like they'd get at least halfway, if not more, and they just die. Yeah, and I'm like, how are you gonna make it all this way out, and then you're just gonna give up? Like,
it's worse that way, man. Because
come on,
it's easy to be less attached and less heartbroken when it's the little worm squiggle.
Did you see that movie, The Gray?
Not yet.
That Liam Neeson movie.
Not yet.
Yeah. So there's a dude that dies in that movie, and it was like very similar. Like he drowns, and his face is literally like that far from the surface, but he can't get to it because he's like trapped under something. And that's exactly what it felt like. I was like, okay, it was just. But this Baird's egg was just strange. It came out normal, and then by the time that I'd cut it, it was like Dorito shaped. It turned into it. Strange. And
were you saying the shell like inverted?
No, like the egg itself like had protruded from the side, like it had swollen on like one side kind of, and it I don't know, but
interesting.
I was like, okay, day 65, like the other one had pipped and had pretty much come out, so I was like, this one hadn't pipped yet, so I went ahead and cut it, and it had so much albumin and stuff in it that when I cut it literally like exploded.
This is what these were looking like. Just to give you guys an idea.
Oh, wow. Look at that. How cool is that, man? How freaking cool is that?
That's not the worst of them. The worst of them died, but...
yeah, but still, it's awesome because of what came out of that. Like, the fact that you did it all, man, like, golf clap.
Thank you. I should not have cut them, and if they all died, I would have blamed myself, so... Now I know what I'm not going to do.
It's one of those things, man. It's tough because especially when you get to that sort of crossroads where it's like, okay, I'm at day like 66 plus. Nothing's happened yet. I don't want to cut them too early, but at the same time, what if they're like actively dying right now as I'm thinking about it, and
that's a lot more valid. Like day 66, sure. Again, I was at 56 and I was just like, I'm tired of staring at eggs. I'm done.
I mean, it's the same thing with that blood red corn I was talking about last week. Like she's laying a slug a week, and she was supposed to lay like 3 weeks ago.
Damn.
And every time I go to aspirate or help her get one of them out, she drops one. So I'm like, she's just taking her time. I'm not going to get any fertile eggs out of her, and I'm okay with that. But it's just been strange because it's one of those things. Same thing. Like she's passing them, but if she holds on to these other two that she's got, is she going to die? Like, should I do something? Like every time I go to do something, they're coming out. Like it's that exact same sort of weird crossroads where it's
damned if you
take
do,
action or
take
action or don't, it's just they're rolling those dice
for sure. That's tricky. I did lose. Sorry. Go ahead, Phil.
No. Say what you're going to say.
I lost one of my Brettles females this year to egg binding, and that was a big bummer because, man, I took her to the vet twice, right? Like I was doing everything I could to like get help, and the best they could do was just drugs and squeeze. And I think she just hemorrhaged and bled to death. So, I don't know what else I could have done. It's like,
I feel like it takes I don't want to say like a veteran, but it takes someone that's seen it a lot to kind of be able to palpate the right way to see if you can get away with just milking them out.
Right.
I tried it, man. Those things weren't really moving.
Well, and that, like, I've done it with Lamprey peltis, and I've been really, really lucky that every single time I've ever done it, and this is different animals, not the same specimen, but different wide array of animals, all Lamberpeltis, and you can feel if you're gonna mess something up, you know what I mean? Because as bad as it is to have her tear a little bit, you don't want to rupture an egg inside.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even though like we talk about aspirating eggs and stuff, like that's totally different than you popping one because you were being too forceful. And I think that it just takes experience to gauge that by touch, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and again, like I said, I did it with a lot of Lamberpeltis and a handful of corns, but I don't know if I would want to do it to a python, you know, because it's completely different.
Well, there's a lot more muscle and stuff there too. That's pushing back and like, it's a whole nother.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen it go south at work, and I just didn't want to even try. You know, I guess might have been the same outcome, but you feel a little bit better, I guess, giving it to the dude with the letters after his name.
I mean, I tell you though, I looked up some videos just on egg-bound snakes and seeing if there was anything that I could do here at home to help things along. And the videos that I came across that showed up in search results was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, how anyone could do that stuff to one of their animals and be like, it'll be fine.
Right.
You know, it's like, what? It's like, are you out of your mind?
Well, and I think one of my favorites is the one I always tell, where we were at a museum in Miami and they had a Floridana on display that had never been with a male its entire life. And there was the thought of parthenogenesis was just not a thing. It was more so she was old as dirt and had ovum that she needed to just get rid of. And she follicled, so to speak, a bunch of infertile eggs. And, but she couldn't pass them. And I think she was too obese to really get the motion going, if that makes any sense. And we x-rayed her and we counted, I think, 7 or 8 eggs. And then I palpated like 7 or 8 out. And then she passed one like 20 minutes after that in her cage. But then like a week later, she passed another 4 or 5 on her own.
Wow.
And they were all infertile, all of them. But still, it's just crazy that even with the x-ray, we didn't see it. So either we didn't see it correctly or she rapidly developed them now that she knew she had space to do it, if that makes any sense.
For sure. Yeah. The girl I had here, she laid 7 just fine before she couldn't anymore. And 5 of those are still cooking. They are probably going to hatch. So I don't know what went wrong. It's like somewhere along the chain, some one of those eggs was adhered or something.
Something got hung up. Yeah. It's
on the look on the bright side, her life was still a success. You got eggs in the incubator.
Yeah,
you know
it's true. I mean, it could have been worse.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. Exactly. And she had 18, beautiful eggs the year before, and I that might have been where I went wrong, is doing 2 years in a row. I'm definitely going to think, about that more going forward, but living things, right?
I've talked about it previously where I try not to get too bummed out about that kind of stuff. It's like,
well, you
sort of take it as a good learning experience, because now you feel more equipped to handle something similar down the road. Like it's at the very least, it's a parting gift. It's
for sure. And ahead of the season, because I'm not doing it anymore, but at the time I was looking at the brittle stuff for school, and I asked Zach if it was a bad idea, and he said, nah, they're tough. They'll do it in nature. Feed her up, she'll be fine. So, it could happen either way, is my point. Who knows?
Right. Yeah. And it makes you a better herper and better keeper regardless.
For sure. So. Just got to learn, like Justin said.
I don't know. I mean, I try not to, I don't freak out. Try my best not to freak out when something like that happens, like with this corn, because I've never dealt with egg binding before. And instead of sort of freaking out, sort of head into it and be, have at least some sort of enthusiasm or excitement about learning about it and trying to figure it out. And
for sure,
after that, I had this deep dive into, I got the Maters book, which I don't know how many times I've referenced that book and learned stuff. It's worth every damn penny, And I was looking up calcium and like parathyroid glands and snakes and reptiles and stuff, and how that works, and how calcium is could affect the fact that she's not able to lay as well, or just overall sort of that how getting to more the root of the issue and trying to learn about why what's happening is happening. And I don't know. I like that kind of stuff, and I like adding stuff to that toolbox. And
yeah, I agree 110%. I also think that to add to that is once you've gone through that roster in your mind, you almost got to remind yourself, like, it could just be genetics, man. I mean, look at people, humans, like, you have the healthiest person in the world and they still may have some kind of fertility issue. So
sure,
it happens,
Yeah. And Scott brings up a good point. He said egg binding seems more common in overweight snakes with poor muscle tone, poor nutrition, and lack of UV exposure. This girl, I did not feed up much going into the season because she was pretty thick. Like, she was pretty hefty already. I was like, I don't really think I need to beef her up any more than she already is. That could very well be part of the problem. I didn't have any other issues with any other females this year, and I didn't really beef up any of my females. I didn't feed them super heavy going in. I kept it fairly average to maybe even on the lighter side, and I didn't have any problems. But that pair was also fairly new because Tyler sent them to me a couple months ago, and so going into the season, I was like, I'll put them together, give it a shot. They probably should have had more time to settle. Like, I probably should have just waited a year, and maybe I wouldn't have had this problem. Who knows? But it's she's got 2 more in her, and she's still doing fine, like completely normal. Why she's not lethargic or anything? And I don't know, man. It had me stumped because I was like literally pulling out a syringe and needle to do an aspiration on one of those eggs, and there's one on the substrate. So I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Didn't you read the book? This isn't what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, right. You didn't get that memo. And I'll tell you, man, like I didn't pair stuff this year on purpose because it was new to me that year. And even though I had already had the animals for 12, 15, 16 months, whatever it was, I was like, you know what? Let me just go the whole year, maybe a little longer, see how things develop, see how things act. And dude, I got some really cool seasonal color variations and seasonal behavioral variations and behavior variation, whatever you want to call it. And I'm glad I did, Now, I did have a 1 egg season, and that was my Cinctus boob egg.
How's that doing?
And I got impatient like Lucas.
Oh.
And at 50 days, I opened the little deli cup with my little sim container egg caddy. And I look at the egg and I go, man, it's starting to look a little funny. I said, you know what? Let me pick it up out of the egg tray, because I would candle it through the egg tray. I said, let me pick it up. Let me actually hold it up to the light. And when I picked it up, the bottom half was completely inverted. And I was like, what the crap? So I was like, screw it. So I literally just took my fingers and I just tore the egg open. And inside was a spinal, like a spinal vein wrapped in what I could describe as the insides of a grape. But the egg was completely dry. There was no liquid in it at all. It was just this hollow little tortilla shell.
Husk.
Yeah, it was literally a tortilla shell with like a little strip of grape, like the inside of a grape.
Interesting.
Yep. And what I'm guessing is that it probably wasn't going to go, even if I had the humidity right. And then I think it was too dry. I do.
Yeah.
So we live and learn.
Well, and someone said, what about hydration in correlation to egg binding? It's the one thing I figured out, reading about the calcium and how that interacts with muscles and stuff like that and contractions. Like, it's all related. It's all one thing, If you're missing one part, then you're going to cause issues in another. I think it 100% has something to do with it. And I soaked that female because talking to Rob Stone, he's like, soak her, get her moving. And soaking definitely seemed to help. At least I noticed the eggs moved down more. I think she was just relaxing more. And so those eggs kind of had more room to move. And I'll probably end up doing that again tomorrow if she doesn't drop another slug. But
yeah,
it's been a real head scratcher. And then Scott had a question. He said, why should you cut on an egg? And do you think you should breed them for weak neos? you should breed from weak nose. And I cut on. I'm the same way with Scott. Like he said earlier, he's like, after the first one pips, then I'll cut. I'm the same way. I usually give stuff at least 24, 48 hours before I start cutting on the ones that haven't pipped. And I've had 100% hatch rate minus that one strange egg. As far as breeding those, like maybe that one egg that's that Baird's egg that's just all weird, like that one probably was never meant to make it in the first place. If it went 65 days and looks the way it does, probably wasn't going to happen to begin with.
Yeah, but it's still there, right?
As far as I can tell, like I said,
Dude,
I'm sort of waiting for signs that it's dead before I do anything.
Yeah, just let it go, man. You could have twins in there.
Even then, though, do I want to add that into, say it does go the distance and I do get a fully developed snake, that's fine. Like, I'd be a little hesitant to sort of raise that up and throw it in the gene pool.
Yeah, but who says you got to throw it in the gene pool? You know,
no one. But I'm just saying, like, if I give it to someone else, there's, they might, and so on and so forth. But that's putting the cart way before the horse.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when should you cut an egg? Not when I did. Like, you should. Yeah, I agree. See something pip on its own and then help everybody else out, because that it's time.
Right.
And it's definitely a thing, right, for somebody to lose their egg tooth or not have an egg tooth and perish if you don't. So, I mean, in my case, I was just an idiot, and you can lead a Lucas to water, but he'll still be a moron.
Well, hey man, I'll be honest, I wouldn't have
egg too.
Well, I heard that you're not a real breeder if you haven't popped a small lizard egg.
I was like, wow, they really filled out, and then just
oh jeez. Well, I was gonna say the little Cheeto gecko egg, as Billy Jenkins calls it, the Cheeto baby. I wouldn't have tore it open if it wasn't all inverted and all messed up. You know what I mean? So it's live and learn, man. It's live and learn.
I think I had some crested eggs that were like that, where they looked fine from the outside, and as soon as you lift them up, there's like a freaking shell on the beach, like those little conch shell neck, like puka shells or whatever.
Yeah, puka shell. Yep, that's exactly that's the best way to describe it.
You lift it up, and you're like, oh, what the hell? Like, it looks
now that's
fine
something that should come back. Puka shell necklaces.
Oh God,
Phil was missing his. Like,
Phil right now. That's what I'm saying.
No,
the
you're
scene
too West Coast, bro.
Sell me a timeshare.
No, dude. Nah, bro. Nah.
Sell me a moped on Maui.
Where are you folks again? Are you in Texas?
I'm in South Florida.
I wish I was in Texas. I'm in South Carolina.
Oh, okay. I was way off.
Yeah. I'm
Samsonite. I was
way off. I'm about 25, 30 minutes north of Miami, and Justin is the farthest, most eastest, southernest, most corner of South Carolina.
Got it. I just dipped my toe in Florida once. I didn't go past Jacksonville.
That's all you need.
You
really don't have to go any further than that.
No, you have to leave that area. Jeez.
Yeah.
No offense, Billy Jenkins.
Yeah.
I'm right down here in the butthole of South Carolina, right as you get into Georgia, the land of no corn snakes.
Hey man, swamp life.
It's a cool state, but they've got the dumbest, most outdated reptile wildlife laws.
Oh, really?
In any of the states around, like, you can't own anything native non-venomous, but you can own native venomous without no questions asked. It's just
excellent.
It's bizarre. It's like, don't you dare have a corn snake. Oh, you want a cane or like a timber? Okay, cool. Here you go. Have at it.
Yeah,
have fun,
man.
Kid.
Yep. Cray.
Goofy.
Oh, the Gendra is in the chat. Look at that.
Hey.
Hi, Gendra.
So Lucas, what's on the horizon, man? What else you got cooking in that incubator of yours?
At the moment, Brettle's the only thing left cooking. So this season I had Owen's stupid Womas slugged out as usual, because
as they were biting you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So that sucked. Got jungles. All those are eating. A few of them are only eating quail, but the rest of them are on frozen thawed mice, and I'm really excited about that clutch. There's some good looking animals in there.
Who is mom and dad?
A pair of highlighter line. So there might be a drop of diamond in there, but I don't care. They're really pretty.
Yeah.
And then I've got a cattle trough of Ackees next to me here.
I saw
was
a picture
waiting for
earlier
you to
that
tell me.
Alan had posted with a bunch of babies too, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Damn it, man, that's so cool!" Like,
You need some? Like they're growing, and I'm scared.
Well, I just think it's funny that you know, you can have a trough full of Ackees, and it's cool as hell. But if I had a trough full of ball pythons, I would be the Antichrist.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
It's so one-sided.
for sure.
they're lizards. It's different. They have legs.
It's also
Okay.
just kind of all about how you do it, right? Like,
That's true, man.
I think
wouldn't
it's a
have any
great
problem
idea,
with you
actually.
putting a ball python in a trough if you had some good stuff in there.
Well,
A
no,
box
it
is a
wasn't-
box, right?
It
What are we
wasn't. It
putting in
wasn't
it?
one ball python. It'd be like 500.
Oh,
Yeah. It'd be like 500 ball pythons in a horse trough with like.
that's a little
6
Raiders
high
of the
bo-
Lost Ark pit.
Oh,
yeah.
it definitely was. It was there'd be like 6 hide boxes and like 4 water bowls and yeah. I
never really thought
marginally
about
joking.
that though. You're right. Like if someone puts, Uromastics or other lizards into like a trough, it's like everyone's like, "Oh, that's nice. That's awesome. Like look at all the space they have. You do it
Yeah.
with the snake," and they're like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is your 20-gallon?
Exactly. Where's your heat rock?
No, but other
How many
that-
babies are you up to with the Ackees now though?
So
Didn't you just
had,
hatch a bunch not that long ago, and now you've got
yeah.
these guys too?
The first clutch was 11, and that's
Okay.
what's next to me here is that clutch. And then there was another clutch of 5, popped 1, had 4, 4 in the living room. But I've shipped 3 of these guys out, so there's 8 next to me here. But they're already getting close to like 5 inches, and
It
grows
blows
so
my mind
fast.
that female Ackees can crank out that many eggs in such
Yeah,
a short
oh, yeah.
span of time and not just be completely blown out.
I separated them because I was worried about that, and I just want her to have some space. Because the male's relentless. He won't let up ever, and
Mine's
he's a
like 8
biter.
inches long, and he's chasing the female around. He's like half her size, and he's
Yeah.
going for it. I'm like, damn, dude.
He'll take him by the back of the neck too. It's kind of, I don't want to
Good for him.
burn her out. Yeah, but no, that's pretty much it for this year. Next year should be a crazier year for me. I'm excited.
So now that you have your bright, shiny southeastern carpet pythons, are you going to possibly pair them with your jungles?
The diamonds? Oh,
Scott says
No.
they're the same, so it doesn't really matter.
No,
That-
man. Just
Scott-
one. Just do one pairing.
Scott's being inflammatory right now.
Scott can believe that is true, and I still don't want to do it.
Ah. My first
No.
carpet ever was an F1 Diamond Jungle, and he is now 17 years old,
That's cool.
and he lives at my buddy's house because my buddy has him as like a pet. He's a lunatic psycho. He's like 7 foot.
I love old snakes. The
Yeah, man.
the sire to the Western Blackheads is a 2002.
Wow.
That I got from Dan Vermelia, and that's my favorite animal because he's almost as old as I am.
That's awesome. That's
Dude's
awesome.
seen some shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's super cool. And it is the horse trough like I don't mean to call it the horse trough. Is the Ackie enclosure? Is it
Trough
did
is fine.
yeah, I was saying,
Calendarium.
I always when we had horse troughs back in the day, you couldn't put anything higher than, depending on the species, you couldn't put anything higher than like the first third of the trough because they'd get out. So I was actually going to ask you, like, do you have anything on top of it? And then
So
how high do you have things stacked?
He lined the top with Vaseline like you do with
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
So what I have
Open air, baby.
observed, we do the trough. Oh, my charger fell. Sorry.
It's cool.
Live television. What we do at the vivarium is actually the adult breeder Ackees are in the troughs as well, and so that was kind of what I was basing this after, because those are full size lizards and they can't jump out. So
yeah,
at least if you don't like put a big stick that lets them jump out,
right? And that's what I was asking. Like, how high did you go? Like, you know what I mean, with in terms of like stacking.
I don't know.
rocks?
I don't see baby Ackees making that much of an effort. Like I see them more
No.
ducking and running than trying to jump out
There's
and
not a
take off.
ton of on the vertical. Like I tried it before I built this here. I tested it at work by like doing the suspended pinky thing and seeing how far the adult Ackees could jump, and they couldn't make it out. So what I've got is the highest point in here. I've got 2 bricks and then one of those like long bricks. So it's kind of like a reed stack, but it's bricks instead of plywood. And it doesn't go much higher than that. I put a piece of slab rock on top of that as well.
Nice.
Right
Just
under
throw
the
a bunch
light.
of crickets in there and watch them all go crazy. Oh,
exactly.
That's cool.
It's so fun.
It's like
and
that,
it's been
that
great.
field scene in the Lost World.
Exactly. I haven't noticed any aggression towards each other. You know, that might come as they get even bigger. That's why I'm really trying to get them out of here before that happens, because I can't separate 8 Ackees. But no, it's been fun. It's been fun.
Let me ask you on the females, because they are spitting out so many eggs. Are you doing any like extra protein, like extra pinkies or extra supplement? Okay.
For sure. I'm lucky, right? Because I do have access to a lot of different feeders, just going into the vivarium for my shift. So, you know, I'll come home with just, you know, your typical crickets, superworms, dubias, sometimes grasshoppers, hornworms, like all the fun bugs. I can mix and match, wax worms, you know, just kind of mix it up. And then I always have silver sides in the freezer as well as the pinkies, of course. So I'll do a chopped up silver side and some pinks. And
nice.
For the females, I definitely, after she laid, I was doing a good amount of mice and even sprinkling some calcium on top of that, just for shits and giggles. And
yeah,
that's awesome. Mine have been perfect for any of the pinkies that some of the corns haven't eaten. Like I've got some corns that didn't go in the shed, and so I left a pinky in there overnight and they never ate it. And so I was like, okay, you're going on a plate in the Ackee cage. And
100%.
They were gone when I came home. So I was like, all right, someone liked them.
Trash cans. That's one of my favorite things about it too. I haven't been able to get the Kimberly rocks to eat rodents. I don't know why. I know other people's are into it, but these ones, crickets or bust. They won't even do the worms. So
wow.
Yeah.
Is it a movement thing?
It seems that way. It might change as they get older, right? But they definitely like to see something darting around and go get it. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to boost like fat and protein and calcium for the Cinctus before pairing everything. So I gave every breeder female a pinky, and dude, they went bananas. They it was crazy. It was like, who is this monster? What did you become? You know? And then they all did their thing. And then when I saw the next round of ovulation, I was like, oh, I'll give you another pinky. And all of them looked at me like, what the hell am I supposed to do? It's alive. Like, what do I do with that? And I wound up taking them out and giving them to king snakes. But I thought that was interesting that this is my first time. This is my first year doing that. And they literally when I put that in the first time, they were like, I need this. I need this now. I'm going to need this later on. And then after, when I did that second round, which is probably maybe 40 or 50 days later, they were like, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm okay. So I thought that was very interesting.
For sure. Yeah. You can definitely try to kind of match the input with the output a little bit, you know, especially with breeding. You want to support that female. And
how big are your female Ackees? The breeders.
Good question. I don't know. If you don't mind a little radio silence, I can go grab her.
Yeah. I mean, if you want, show and tell, baby.
I'll be right back.
We were not expecting gram weight or anything.
Mine's still,
yeah.
Mine are slowly coming along. So mine now, when I have the tongs, they see those and they just start going crazy. Like they bite at them and everything like that. If I put my hand in there, they're like, hell no. But I'm still doing the tong thing. And
yeah, dude, it's work in progress, man.
I'm excited to have them produce though. Like it'll be awesome to incubate those and hatch them, and you know, it's just another species to add to the, you know, the resume, I guess. But
yeah,
it's just, they're cool lizards, man. I really, really like them, as much as they don't seem to like me, but
like most of our pets. Oh wow, she's huge.
There's Mom.
She's gigantic.
Is she?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And see, that's what I was expecting. I was like, is this thing going to be like this big diesel lizard?
Like, what the hell are you doing to me?
I know, dude. She's gorgeous. She's awesome. Look at that tail.
She's really pretty.
A
They
legit
are pretty lizards.
perfect.
These
tail.
are from Artavilis, Mr. Woma. He did red Ackees for a little while. Ooh! There you go. They jump.
Dude,
That's a sound clip.
And I think they're from the rare earth stuff, and I love them. They're really fun.
Yeah, dude. Super cool. Super cool.
it's awesome. Like it's just so cool to have them, man. Because as a kid, I wanted some so bad.
Yeah.
And then I finally got some, and they're everything I hoped they would be and more.
How are yours doing with the socialization?
They're coming around slowly. I was just telling Phil where you were grabbing her. Like, if I have the tongs in my hand, they know what those are now, and they come for them, whether there's food on them or not. So
that's cool.
They get excited.
I took care of a black throat for a little while.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It was a dumb idea, but I had fun, and I just thought of it because I target trained that thing in like 3 days. Like, they're so freaking smart. Tennis ball on the end of a stick. Caught on really quick.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love black throats, man.
Yeah, they're cool.
Odatria or die. That's got to be a shirt. I'm gonna make that a shirt.
Odatria.
I'm actually I'm trying to find a picture of my buddy's black throat that was a long time ago. How big was the one you were babysitting?
He went to go put her back real quick.
Oh, okay.
I do want Kim's to happen. I gotta figure. I got a whole 3-foot cage that doesn't have anything in it. That's got to go. I got to get a BlackBox cage for the Ackees, and then maybe Kim's can happen. We'll see. So. Would Riley say lizards are fun, but even better when you can go home later and not have to worry about them or pay for them? Yeah. I don't want to go crazy. Like I've said before, like I just want some Ackees. I just want maybe a Kim or two, and I'm good. Like that's my fix. That's all I want.
You don't get a black throat, especially if you live in an apartment on the 2nd floor in Oakland.
Well, if I can find this picture real quick, I will I'll show you why you don't get a black throat in an apartment.
There's many reasons, Phil.
I know, right? Yeah. So here's a good reason. I'm going to regret showing this because not only is my head shaved, but I have no beard in this picture either.
Oh, baby Phil.
And this was probably, this was like 15 years ago.
Can I add it to the collection I have on my phone?
Please don't.
Saving them for a rainy day. Some sort of birthday post or something. Jesus.
Yep. That's a big lizard.
I don't see it yet. You guys see there? It?
Yeah.
Oh, let me
chat.
Let's do that.
People in the chat, are you seeing it? Maybe it's just me.
Any trick on taming a mangrove? Kasiki wants to know.
Mangrove what?
Mangrove monitor.
Oh, okay.
Boyega.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You don't. They just...
Here, we'll try that one more time.
You accept them for what they are.
Oh, they all could see it. All right. Guess it's just
How's
me.
that? You see that, boy?
I got nothing, but it's okay. I'll catch it in post.
Great. Oh,
how was that? How was that not like your Tinder profile picture, man?
Well, I'm not on dating apps anymore. And needless to say, you don't put pictures like that on a dating profile because you just scare people away.
That's how you weed them out. It does it. It's a self-governing filter.
Then you got to have the next one with a big old fish.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Miguel says, "No way, that's Phil." Yeah, that was a long time ago, bro. Long time ago. So
too much sheen from the head.
Yeah. Thanks.
Damn, I just.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
Back to the guest.
I don't have a beard either. You want to talk about my hair situation?
You just got growing, bro. All the cool kids are doing it.
I've been no shave November for 25 years.
That's good. That's
White
good.
people grow facial hair. Chinese people grow facial hair. You put it together, you get me.
They just cancel each other out.
Yeah, exactly. A negative plus a negative is a. Oh wait, no. Times.
No,
It's a
right?
positive.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh man.
But yeah, the animals are great.
Good. And I saw you had a little. You had Brettles go for a walk, go for a stroll.
Yeah, I was getting to the.
Oh,
I got a good laugh at
yeah, yeah, dude. That was
mostly because I could relate.
It's that I thought of you because
Oh, thanks.
Eric and Owen have made fun of you on one of our episodes about herping at home, but
I thought of you because I fucked up royally.
No. That was a funny one because I would not have realized it at all, except she took a dump right on the floor. Like, she gave herself away. But yeah, that was my full blood hypo het stonewashed female. And she went straight into the closet and straight up like a good little tree snake. Left some evidence, knocked over some beer making supplies.
The worst part is when you realize that they're gone, but you're not sure exactly how long they've been out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where it's like, wait a second, you're not in here. When was the last time I saw you?
Judging by the turd, I think she really just like came out, took a dump, went to the closet, and then I found her. But
oh, look, a shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could have been worse.
This closet's just like Alice Springs.
It's a good thing my husky's a terrible guard dog.
Oh yeah, that could have been bad. Oh man, she's good size too.
Yeah, she's a 2018.
Nice. Yeah.
So
then let me ask you this: did she push the glass open, or did you forget to latch it?
So I did have the lock on there, but I don't think that the lock was all the way closed.
Was it one of the click ones that sticks on the glass?
Like a jewelry slide lock.
Oh, okay. So you didn't click it all the way.
Right, exactly. And I think there was just enough give. It wasn't open much, but I think she was able to slide that glass about 3/4 of an inch and shimmy the rest of the way. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't glaringly obvious. Again, I wouldn't have noticed if there wasn't a turd in front of the cage.
Yeah. Is your room escape proof or no?
No.
You need to get a door sweep. Get you an $8 door sweep.
There's I don't think there's any way out except for the crack under the door, so it'd be easy enough.
But she's small enough to fit into the door.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not.
I said that a couple times too.
Yeah, but yours are baby colubrids, bro.
Yeah.
Irrelevant.
I did have one. Speaking of what Jason's talking about in the chat, I sent him my Florida blue garters. I did have one get out, one of those when it was real small. I left it in a deli for feeding, and it was small enough to get out of the air hole.
Oh.
Wow.
And I found it in my dog's water bowl 3 months later.
Alive?
So, oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Taking a bath. So Jason,
Excellent.
the smallest one that you got, that one had an adventure as well.
Man. Yeah, I've only had one animal, knock on wood. I've only had one animal yet get out, and that was a blackthroat monitor. That was a like a 3-foot blackthroat, and he just took those nails and just tore that screen top right open. And I found him in a giant cardboard box filled to the brim with board games. He was in the closet at the bottom of the box underneath all the board games.
Wow.
Yeah.
Security.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only two I've had get out here, but I have had to get adult red tegus out of the ceiling at work.
Oh geez.
False water cobras in the neighbor's place next door on top of the engagement rings. Like,
wow.
that was fun. That was a good one.
Nice.
Like, the jewelry ladies heard me and the owner say cobra, and they're like, whoa, what? Like, hold on.
That's cool. That's cool.
Like, nope, just kidding. Smooth snake.
One time I used to do animal presentations, birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, high school lecture hall stuff.
Pulling out a giant Gig Cobra cigarette hanging from his mouth.
Yeah,
Here,
so,
kids.
Yeah, you ever seen?
Let me show you something.
Yeah. This here's a Walter Nisha. So
his name's Walter, and he
Ever
ain't
seen
no
a grown
puppy.
man cry?
Yeah, right. You ever seen a grown man naked? No. You
Ever
want
been
to?
a Turkish bathhouse?
It's Turkish prison, I thought, right?
I don't know, something like that.
Anyway, one time I was going to, I don't know, some like high school summer camp thing in Miami, and I'm driving down 95, and all these people are honking at me. I think I told the story on here before, but all these people are honking at me, and I'm thinking to myself, what, like, do I have a flat tire? Like, did I leave the trunk open? Something. And I realized that an alligator, like a 3-foot alligator, had busted out of the tub and was sunning himself on the flat part of like the back seat where the rear windshield is. And everyone's just like honking, and like he had his mouth open and everything because he's just chilling in the sun,
Happy camper.
Happy camper. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
badass.
Saying, help, I've been abducted.
There's worse things that could happen. And
yeah, right. It's Florida.
Yeah, that's right.
Could be worse. Man. It could be a zebra spitter loose in your neighborhood.
Whoa, that got dark real quick.
Didn't they call Zach to go find that? Or was that a different cobra? I remember the wildlife officers were like, go find this venomous escaped animal for him last year.
Who knows?
Yeah. I try not to read into too much of that stuff anymore. I mean, obviously that was a real thing, but there's so much fake crap now too.
That's
so
fair.
So much fake stuff now.
Somebody let a ball python go in the regional parks around here in Oakland a couple months ago, and all the headlines said giant boa constrictor, and it's very disappointing.
Yeah.
Even the park ranger, that's quoted in the articles, like, these, they're strong enough to kill a child. Don't touch it.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Ooh. Scott wants us to get spicy on YouTube drama. Do you guys want to touch it, or do you want to skip
it? We tend to avoid the spicy YouTube stuff.
Very fair.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it.
Smitty wants to talk about it.
Okay.
Looks like we're talking about it. Let's do it.
I think it's goofy, man. I've watched them out of pure curiosity, but I don't really see the point. I think it's kind of the pot calling the kettle black, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I don't see the point. Like, there's plenty of other stuff that both parties, well, it's not even, I guess, Chandler posting it, but yeah, I mean, it's dumb. But it's the YouTube crowd. Like, don't really expect much from that gang anymore. Not that I'm an avid consumer of their content, but yeah, I
agree. We can leave it at that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see certain individuals boast about how things should be, and then throw all of that out the window so that they can get a cool video, only to find out that everyone who's helping them do the video is against what they're doing. And then at the same time, then go out and say that the people trying to chastise us as a whole for the bonehead things that a select few individuals have done, and is slowly trying to degrade and eliminate our lives in this capacity, and we're supposed to side with them because they have our best interest, is not good.
Yeah.
End rant.
Scott
cigar.
Scott says, do we as a community blackball them? Like, you can't. Because the people that are consuming that stuff
they
aren't
don't care
people
about
that
us.
are really in the hobby to begin with. Like, I'd be willing to bet a decent chunk of the people that watch a lot of that stuff, that, the people that have millions of subscribers, whatever you want to call it. A large chunk of those people are not in the hobby. It's the same people that watch, the trash on Animal Planet and the major networks, or what used to be, the main thing on TV. Say, Steve Irwin, like people didn't care about black mambas and stuff. They just wanted to see him almost get bit by one.
It's true.
Like there's a large chunk of the hobby, at least in like the realm as far as like what we like serious dedicated people that are in it, have largest collections, that are invested in the whole thing, not just financially, but emotionally, space wise, all that good stuff. I don't see them watching any of that stuff on like any serious level. Like maybe there's one or two videos that pop up where they're like, okay, I kind of expect this to be clickbait, but what the hell,
Yeah,
people were talking about it, I'll check it out. But other than that, I feel like a large majority of the people watching that stuff, they're not really in the hobby. They don't have any sort of dog in the fight in terms of the hobby and legislation stuff. It just, it is what it is. So it's blacklisting them or whatever you want to call it. I don't think it'll ever happen. They're past the point of they've become so massive in their following and stuff that even if the serious side of the hobby decides to do that, I don't see it really changing anything. I think they've kind of gotten to the point where they're not being stopped at this point, and it's just going to keep until people stop watching it flat out because they're bored of it, which again I don't think is ever going to happen. But
yeah, I think the only thing that would disrupt the status quo is the checks stop rolling in. That's about it.
It won't make a difference because whether the checks stop rolling in or not, they love their animals. Don't get me wrong. They do. They love their animals. Otherwise they wouldn't do it. Okay. And I feel that the damage is done.
Yeah.
It's only going to get worse.
That's
and
fair.
instead of defending what we have and saying, hey, I made mistakes. We made mistakes. This is the select actions of a few and not the community as a whole. Instead, you're gonna
argument doesn't seem to even really do anything anymore, though.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is you're gonna side with the people trying to take it all away and say that they have our best interest in this case of public safety.
It's like that guy in the Matrix that turned on them and sold them out while they were all in the Matrix. The dude that was eating the steak.
Ignorance is not bliss.
Yes,
okay?
That guy.
Ignorance is not bliss. And what I'm getting at is that now I have to sit back, helplessly watch myself, my peers, my friends, my family potentially lose everything that we've built because of stupid actions that were taken and carried away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You ban an animal that is invasive. Great. Wonderful. Why don't you do that 30 years ago? You have a problem now that will never be fixed.
Yep.
Look at Australia. Look into Papua New Guinea. You will never fix this problem. But because you don't want a lizard to shit on your dock, you put a bill into place. I want to know where the money's coming from. I want to know who's paying off the politicians. Excuse me. Let me rephrase that. I want to know who's lobbying to have all of this done.
Me too. I'm with you there. I feel like a lot of the times we talk about them without really pausing to identify the answer to the question you just asked. Who the fuck is paying for all that?
The taxpayers.
No, it's not the taxpayers.
The lobbying, like Phil's
that's
saying.
What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Taxpayers pay their taxes and they use the money for whatever the hell they want to use it for. But who is directly funding that senator, that congressman, that state representative? Who is funding them to be like, look, here's a ton of money because I hate tegus. Because it ain't U.S. Geological Service, it isn't U.S. Fish and Wildlife, it isn't Florida Fish and Wildlife, it isn't the person that has the
Florida man.
It isn't the person who has the alligator farm who's quote unquote losing all their alligator eggs. No, I want to know who put this in. Who hates tegus just that much? Who hates iguanas just that much that they're going to want to ban them when the damage is literally already done?
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious that they were banning iguanas.
Is a kind of funny and slippery slope because there's some it's selective outrage for sure. I mean, the majority of our native ecosystems have long been fucked,
Right.
for lack of a better
Right.
word. And we just pick and choose when we care.
Right.
Like,
Yes,
what is one of the animals we care most about in this country? An invasive European honeybee. Make that make sense. Like,
well, or better yet, it's the quintessential Steve Rinella cute and cuddly theory, right? You can't kill wolves in Yellowstone because they're cute and cuddly. Yes, we brought them back because they were extirpated, but now they're running amok and they're destroying an ecosystem. Meanwhile, in 2017, there was 11 American caribou. There's none left because semi trucks ran them all over. Okay, no one even knew that there were American caribou, but they're dead. And now we're looking at these animals that are the scary ones, the big scary ones. Now, I take pride in the fact that I go herping at least once a week, and I've never seen a python in the wild. I'm not saying they're not there. I'm not saying they're not invasive, and I'm not saying that they're not a problem. They definitely are. But the media blows that out of proportion. The legislation blows it way out of proportion. And therefore, all of a sudden, now everything and their mother gets banned.
Right.
It's nonsense. There's no scientific backing. It's a knee-jerk reaction that's fueled from money. And when people side with that blindly, saying that they have our best interest, I can't agree with it.
I'm with you, man. 100%.
And this is why I didn't want to bring it up on Snakes and Stogies.
Sorry.
Scuba Steve, damn you. Nah, it's the same way with like the South Carolina stuff. It was like, hey, where are you getting your information? Like, who's what facts are you getting and from who? Because they're not grounded in reality, especially with the berm stuff in particular. It's like, what?
Right.
Where is it coming from?
Yeah. Right. And then you have the list that's been floating around that everyone's terrified of. And everyone's like, oh, it's just a proposed list. Oh, it's just a hypothetical list. That list is from 2015, 2016. Actually, I want to say it's 2014 when they changed the venomous laws, because the list doesn't make sense. There's a ton of invasive fish. There's a ton of invasive birds. And then you get weird stuff like puff adder. Like, why? Like, why just that? You know what I mean? And then you get other species that I'm not even going to mention that are only kept by select individuals who have either pissed off the state or the state thinks they're going to piss them off, and therefore those got put on the list too. So it's literally arbitrary, and I want to know who's funding it. I want to know who's giving them the money. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree more. Yeah,
because I'll tell you right now, if that goes through, that is going to be the template for the rest of the country to follow suit. Mark my words. Yeah. Other people are going to jump on that bandwagon. They're like, "Oh, look, Florida did it. Do it." Ban them all.
Yep. It's a good opportunity for a lot of politicians too to look good, because it's a low-hanging fruit. It's an easy thing to get past because people don't like snakes. It's like, hey, we got these monster pythons that are taking over the state, and we need to be scared and not leave our front doors. Right. It's like people are going to be like, yeah, absolutely, you're right. Like, we got to do something.
Y'all seen Tiger King?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's wild. But I mean, the other side of that coin is the whole Competes Act thing didn't go through. So
Yep.
I didn't think it would.
Wasn't because of animals.
I felt there was too many larger parties that had an interest in that, i.e. big box stores that had a hand in that. So I think if we didn't have those, that it would have been a different outcome. But I don't know. When you're trying to sort of flat out ban pets, period, I don't see that going over well with a lot of people. But Scott being inflammatory again. Damn
Thanks,
it.
Scott.
Jesus, look, you got Phil's blood pressure up.
So let's talk about colubrids, man.
He
let's
undid that top button. Now that's how you know he's pissed.
Fucking Magnum PI motherfuckers.
Think happy thoughts.
Yeah.
What colubrids are you keeping, Lucas?
So at the moment, I've got those Lake Chapalas that I mentioned earlier.
They're cool as hell.
Ackees obscurus. Really, really fun garter snakes. I love those things. I've got a pair of Cooperi of Eastern Indigos and a pair of water cobras.
Are the coops from the same parents?
No, they're from they are both from John Michael's Black Pearl, but he said that they are his most diverse possibility genetically. So
good.
Yeah. I a friend of mine and I are kind of doing a project together. So there's 2.2 total a pair at both of our houses. They're really fun. I love those things.
Excellent. Excellent.
And I do have a pair of Cali Kings, but if CDFW is listening, no, I don't.
Fair enough. That's cool, man. That's awesome.
They're wide-banded Easterns.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man. Yeah. That reminded me of something, but I can't say it. Never mind. Sorry. I'll tell you guys later.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man.
Sorry.
How come
that's
you
cool,
don't
man.
have rhino rats?
I want rhino rats. Owen,
Need
come
rhino
on.
rats.
Yeah, I really want Baron Eye.
Nah, you want rhinos.
I want rhinos more than Barons.
Yeah.
No.
Apparently,
dude.
I'm the only person that thinks that rhinos are cooler. I don't.
Dude, nothing beats a blue Barons, man.
That's what I'm
blue
talking
rhino?
about.
Dude, no, man. Blue Rhino's awesome, but a blue Barons, that braiding, oof.
Also,
did I just pick a side? I think I just did. Oh, Jesus.
Apparently, Riley's letting me know that I haven't broke the law. So that my Cali Kings are Cali Kings, one of which I just took from my job site in the Oakland Hills. So
Billy likes rhinos better too.
Yeah,
I like them both. I wouldn't mind keeping both of them at some point, but
you gonna get more dries or no?
I would definitely love to work with the blacktail Crebo. The yellowtails don't really call to me that much. Why are you laughing?
Billy said it's the only thing he and I agree on.
Oh,
there's very few things me and Billy do agree
on. Gotcha. And then I like the Rubidus.
Yeah.
The Texas Indigos are cool, but I don't think I'd do that. So yeah, I mean, maybe blacktails, maybe Rubidus.
Having played with a lot of them, I can confidently say that everyone poo-poos the Texas until you keep one. Like I just have one male, and dude, that snake is so cool, man.
Yeah.
And
don't get me wrong, I like them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they are awesome. We've had a pair of Texas at the Vivarium recently, and I really enjoy them. But it's just kind of space is at a premium.
Oh yeah. You're buying boats, Yeah. You can only fit so many boats at the dock,
For sure.
Yeah. Oh man.
But no, they're great. And then Lothman's sending me another falsie that I think is an F1. So I think it's going to be a little more spicy than the one he sent me last time.
Man,
bad influence.
He's a bad man.
Yeah, dude, and falsies are awesome, man. And I you can call them false cobras or water cobras. I mean, I always call them water cobras.
Yeah,
yeah. So because no one's got Christie Eye or whatever the hell they call it, Nana now. No one's got that, so who cares?
All right, good. I got permission from the venomous man himself.
Yeah, it's so funny, man. Like everyone had those Christie Eye or Christie, whatever you want to say, and nobody gave a shit because they were ugly and didn't hood. And there was no anti-venom. And all of a sudden they changed the taxonomy. Now it's Nana. And everyone's like, I have to have it. It's $1 million snake. I have to have it. So it's funny.
Same with those Hainan rhinos.
Yeah, exactly. People
jumped on that real quick.
Flavor of the month.
It's something special and different. It's like it's a different color.
Yeah, but the Hainans were cool, man.
They are cool. They're very cool. I love them. But there were people that were selling them for way more money because they spun it as something that was unique and different. And it's just, I don't buy it.
Yeah. So you got any Klubers on the horizon besides the more falsies?
Not that I'm planning on, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's got to be hard with like working at the vivarium and stuff and getting to sort of be hands-on with so many different species. I already struggle enough being in the friends group that I am with all the cool stuff they keep. I can only imagine seeing it firsthand is probably really hard.
It's definitely tricky. I mean, part of it is helpful, kind of like what Riley was talking about earlier in the chat. He was saying, I get my lizard time, at work. I'm good. I don't need them at home. Like that's definitely a part of it too, where, you can scratch your itch without committing to all of the commitment, but committing to the commitment. Nice.
I also think it's good that, and forgive me if I'm incorrect on this, but it seems like the stuff that you have, although it is right up all of our wheelhouses, that's not the stuff you normally find in a reptile shop, right? You don't normally find Western blackheads. You don't normally find womas. You might have an Ackie on occasion. You're not going to have Kims, right? Mm-hmm. So the stuff that you keep at home is not what you have at work, because one of the problems for me was clean and poo day in and day out. You don't want to go home and do it. You know what I mean? You just don't. So I like how you've diversified the work and home. That way it doesn't kill you.
Absolutely. And I mean, there is also kind of just the biosecurity thing that freaks me out, that keeps me from bringing a lot of stuff home. It's like big reptile shop, you can do the best you can. There's still a lot of ins and outs, and something's always going to be floating around. So it definitely, I don't take it lightly bringing something home that's been hanging out in that building for long. But
at the same time, think about how many times, I mean, a lot of us get frozen rodents. We buy them and they're already frozen. You don't know how long they've been frozen for. You don't know what they were living with prior to being euthanized. But we go to the reptile shop and we buy a handful of live stuff. We don't even think twice about feeding it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like that's a big mental thing, It's like I go to a reptile show, I come home and burn all my clothes, but I bought rodents there and just throw them in the cages willy-nilly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no doubt. But you see some stuff.
And there is, but it also is peace of mind knowing that you're the one working there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that that if something's not so good, that it is not so good, or better yet, that it is kosher because you put it there. If that makes sense.
That does make sense. There have been a few times where I snatch things that customers are bringing in at the door and bring them straight to my backpack in a room with no animals.
Yeah.
Like if it's something that I really want. I had a Woma come in that way, and I was like, nah, you're not getting near any of the other shit in this building.
Yeah. Well, and let's be real. I've had when I worked at Underground's retail store, many, many moons ago, you'd have somebody walk in and they got a ball python around their neck, because that's what they do. And they walk up to the cash register and they're like, hey, I'd like a medium rat, please. And meanwhile, you see that ball python has mites crawling all over it.
Totally.
And they don't know.
Florida man.
They don't know. And you're like,
damn you, Florida man.
Yeah. And you tell them flat out, like, don't touch anything. Come with me.
Leave.
Walk them into the mop sink, take the snake off, hit it with some mite kill,
spray them with mite kill.
Spray them with mite kill. Legit. I'm dead serious.
Oh,
and they're like, oh my God, I didn't even know that was a thing, And now you're educating them, you're fixing their snake, and you're preventing it from getting worse,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, I know, Billy. I would never burn this shirt.
Tommy Bahama.
It's a good shirt. I like it.
I'm comfortable.
That's what's important.
Pea soup.
You look comfortable.
I am.
But
Florida vacay comfortable.
Hey man,
I really
Stogies.
That's right.
Weekend in Key West, comfortable.
But no, I don't really have any plans to add any new colubrid species or anything for that matter.
Not even a
I feel pretty good.
Yeah, man. And you gotta keep room for stuff that you're gonna produce.
That's the thing. Like, I was talking about next year. I'm planning on putting like 11 pairs together, and some of those I definitely am going to need holdbacks if I get some of these orange Woma projects that I'm looking forward to actually go. That's the thing. Yeah, you're totally right. I gotta plan to make snakes and not just buy snakes.
Yeah, and let's be real. If all of a sudden nobody, I'm not trying to jinx you. Knock on wood. If all of a sudden nobody wants Ackees, you are prepared to keep that trough. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, yes, that is the responsible person thing to do.
Right.
But I also know in the back of my head I could just wholesale them to my boss.
Yeah.
So that I do have the eject button. But
Yeah,
you're
but
right.
The real
People-
Florida man move would be just to set them free and let them,
dude, come on,
populate the hills
man.
of California.
Oh my God, they would do so
Look out
well,
your
too.
back door and
Oh.
see just little Ackees just running around the hills, chasing butterflies. And
Oh man,
I've thought about a lot. The Oakland Hills are full of eucalyptus. Like some
get a koala.
fool just let them all loose, and it's like entire forest of eucalyptus. And I've thought a lot about how, like, if enough carpets got released into some of these areas, I think they'd be fine. I think they'd do great.
yeah.
The little Queensland part of town.
Yeah.
Well, I was just talking
Little
to somebody.
Tokyo and little Queensland.
I was just
Plenty
talking
of
to,
ground squirrels.
Oh yeah, oh dude, they're micro wombats.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody about how it's kind of annoying that all the invasive lizards we have around here, they're not cool stuff. Like the stuff that took off and like really is invasive, like all the different species of curly tails, all the different species of anoles. Why couldn't they be Ackees? Why couldn't they be water dragons? No, they're freaking curly tails. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or some lizards.
Yeah, right.
Totally.
Oh,
But no,
Jesus.
to be clear, you're right. Everything you produce, you should plan that nobody's going to want it, and you have to be able to take care of it because you're bringing them into the world. So
Yeah, but realistically though, we're all in agreement. Yes, that's the right thing to do. Eye roll, right? Eyebrows. But realistically, you've got the space. You have to keep what you got. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Oh yeah.
And I feel like so many people like myself, like I did that one time. I didn't even know that the Bitis was gravid, and she dropped 30 babies, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I bought a ton of deli cups. Yeah, right. I got a ton of deli cups, and those things lived in deli cups for like a month or two before, like little water dish, little deli cup, and get them out of there,
For sure. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, if only they were Death Adders.
Yeah.
That was for you, Scott.
You guys breed your own feeders and stuff at the vivarium?
Yeah, there's a whole rodent room.
Nice.
So
You guys doing anything with like ASFs, or is it just mice and rats?
those are illegal.
Oh, okay. Jake and I are wanting some. We're talking to Mike Kaziggy about getting some from him to.
Mhm.
'cause
California
basically-
doesn't like those for some reason.
Yeah. It sounds like there's a lot of states that are not too hip to them.
But if they were to be there, they'd be pretty cute, Hamsters, they got hamsters back there. Used to have some tubs of rabbits and chicks, but now we're just freezing them when they come in and offering them frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's a
yeah,
lot
mostly
for-
just the rodents.
Yeah, rabbits
And
are a lot, man.
Oh God, they're the worst, and they get
It's a
like
lot.
ringworm and stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, nah.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the rabbit breeders by us that was doing it for fur and reptile food. I guess a marsh rabbit got in there, and it wasn't an issue with breeding, but they all got really, really bad roundworm, all of them. And so, like, we get in a bunch of rabbits, and we cut them open and see just spaghetti. So
It's gnarly.
yeah. No
There's
bueno.
that rabbit hemorrhagic fever thing going on now too. I don't know if you guys have that where you're at, but it's a problem in
I've
California.
heard of it, but I've never seen it. Like heard of it being around here, but
Yeah,
I'm aware of it. Yeah.
I think it's illegal to sell live rabbits here. So even when we were keeping them in the back live, we had to pre-kill them no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of just like, what's the point?
I don't see how people can even feed rabbits live anyways, because the screaming alone is enough to make me not want to have to do it.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
100%.
Yeah.
Sick fucks.
One of the worst sounds, man. I just ugh.
It is. Yeah.
And their heads just pop right off. It's horrible.
Rabbits caught monkeypox, Victor. Oh no.
No, like I said, Jake and I are planning to get some ASFs from Kasicki because I want some to sort of pad the. Like it sounds like those reproduce a lot faster than mice do, and so like we need something to hold ourselves over until the mice. Like we just we have 2 grow out bins now of mice as of Sunday, and then we added another one of the concrete tubs to the rack with a group in it. So like we're about to start getting into like a nice steady explosion of mice, but I do want just a group of ASFs to sort of help pad the usage of the mice we've got, because it's
that'd
tough.
be awesome. I was doing a little rodent colony situation here. I had a few groups of mice and rats and produced a good amount of babies. It was fun for a while, but then I just got tired of cleaning them and fed them all off and said that project's over.
Yeah. I can understand why people don't want to do it. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that unless you have a barn scenario like Justin, dude, it's rough, man.
Yeah,
it's real rough.
Even if you're on top of your shit, it's still gonna smell. Like, I had them in this room, but then all the snakes just wanted to kill me all the time, and then I moved them to the other end of my apartment, and the kitchen smelled like rodent shit. Yeah, so it was just it's not worth it for me right now.
We were definitely fortunate to have the space we do to do it.
Oh, totally. I would
work out really
if
well
I could. Yeah, it's cheaper.
And I've had people ask me, is it worth it? And I'm like, absolutely. Like, I definitely think it's cheaper, even with this food and the bedding and stuff. Like, it's still, considering that the rates that feeders and stuff are going for right now, it's like it's 100% worth it. I think if you've got the time, the space, and the commitment to it. And I love doing it. I get a weird enjoyment out of having it and like growing a colony and and I don't know, there's something about it I like the organization of it, and
you like the fact that you know what's going in your animals.
Yep.
That's it, man.
Totally. It was nice to be able to just kind of throw like kitchen scraps to the rats, like they're getting good stuff and not chewing some plastic bin that your snake is gonna secondhand digest.
Of course.
Yeah.
And we haven't had that issue either with chewing on tubs or anything like that. And I think a lot of it is giving them options. What is that?
Oh,
Lovechat.xyz, best adult dating site.
That's awesome. Eric. That's Burke.
Damn it, Burke.
Wow. They are blowing that up, aren't they? Look at that. Boom.
Good Lord.
How'd they find us? Jeez.
Why do I feel like Billy Jenkins had something to do with that?
Billy Jenkins down to have a bottle of wild turkey. Now he's sending us porn links. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I think keeping their mouths busy and giving them plenty of things to sort of keep them occupied stops them from eating each other. Like hydration and water seems to be a factor in them in cannibalism, because I've noticed like they can be without food and they don't have that problem. They go without water, and that's when I notice Ricky, who's the weakest link in the group, is the one who ends up being the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
So it's learned, I've learned a lot about that, and I still want to learn more as far as like the social sort of hierarchy of them and figuring all that out. And just I enjoy it. I like it. I don't like, me and Jake knock out cleaning our entire colony within 20 or 30 minutes, and then I go over there in the middle of the week and top everything off, and it's really not that much work. Even when I do it by myself, it's maybe 45 minutes to an hour of cleaning, and it's nothing super labor intensive. I'm not spending every day over there or anything. So
it's,
like I said, for me, it works out great. I love it. But
the juice is worth the squeeze.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen to that, brother.
Oh, look at you, your little coconut boy. That's your new nickname, by the way, Coconut Boy.
I had a coconut haircut when I was a kid.
Me too.
I got coconut head was used.
I was rocking that Lloyd Christmas bowl cut.
Right. Yeah.
I had the part in the middle and comb to the sides.
Nice.
Like Willard?
I don't know Willard.
I don't
The
either.
thin man from Charlie's Angels?
Yes, yes.
Kristen Glover?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right. It probably was Keller that did that. Be willing to bet. Old bastard.
Oh, Jesus. Keller.
Like when I mentioned Dr. Justin Julander's name in one of my YouTube videos, all the comments were like, cure your herpes with this two-step program.
God, dude.
Really?
Yeah, you put doctor in the title, it's all over.
Oh, God.
That's what I don't understand. Between YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, with all the money that these companies make, you think they'd have some better spam filters and
Well, no,
Right.
they take our
Poised.
feed down because I'm showing medical necropsies.
Yeah.
But they allow that to slip through. Come on, people. Come on.
Come on.
This is
Oh,
a good
jeez.
Christian show. We don't need that.
House of Learning Doctors.
This is a house of learned doctors.
I spoke with Johnny Hopkins. Oh, Christ. What has the show become?
Well,
I'm having a blast.
You have
good.
Morelia, but you don't
Yes.
have chondros.
So I had an Aru.
Oh, you did. That's right.
Yeah, I loved that snake. I ended up giving that snake to Lisa Farina.
Nice.
Cool.
Because she had a really pretty male, and I have no doubt she'll produce him at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, no, but I love chondros. I really do. There's a group of sarongs at the vivarium that I like looking after and hope those produce eventually. But
You got a female they don't need?
I don't think so. But
I see people hatching them out, and I'm like, man, I miss that so much. I don't know when it'll happen again.
what
but
are you? Yeah, what's your condor situation these days?
Everything's too young, or they're
Okay.
boys.
Gotcha. I'd love to get back into it at some
Yeah.
point. You know, they're so fun, but again, it's just space and
Yeah.
Aspodites took over my life, and
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'd rather root for the Aspodites. No offense, Justin. I'll draw that line in the sand.
they would never get replaced, right?
Yeah,
It would
of
have
course,
to be an
of course.
addition.
Of course.
I'm not pulling out of Aspodites for the foreseeable decades.
So now, speaking of the A word, so you got Womas,
Mm-hmm.
you have Western blackheads, and then you also have other blackheads, or no?
Yeah, I do. So I have one female from Jason Hood that's kind of that Swiss line.
Sure.
And then I also have some animals that are not Western, not Swiss line. I guess you would say Eastern, but I know Derek Roddy likes to say that the animals that we call Easterns are more Northern Territory, and it's kind of disingenuous.
Sure.
And, you know, on that note, too, it's like the Western stuff, it's all a little bit like maybe depends who you believe kind of thing. But yeah, I have a little bit of everything that's available in terms of the different localities. But I'm not working with any of the Axanthic stuff
Yet.
Yeah, I have a male from Nick that's possible head Axanthic, but I don't have a female that's possible head Axanthic, so it's just a pretty black head.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I love them, man. They're my favorite species, hands down.
Blackhead?
You know. Oh yeah.
Good. Cool.
Not just because I saw one hatch this morning. I would have told you that yesterday too. Fresh off of killing them.
That's good, man. That's good. I love it.
They're so fun.
Speaking of Nick, what's the deal with this new show y'all are going to be doing?
Yeah. So we were supposed to record our first episode last week, but there was a scheduling problem. We're talking with a gentleman that's in Australia, and we had issues with the time conversion. So it gets tricky with that, but we're going to get on it. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I guess kind of the idea is just to talk to, you know, researchers, academically minded folks, and try to dig deep into certain topics. I mean, Nick is a certified super nerd that can talk for hours and 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 hours. And I'm going to try to keep up and wrangle him. And
You
it'll
guys
be fun.
need to hit up Doc Messenger.
Hit up who?
Doc Messenger.
I don't know who that is.
Kevin Messenger. He does. He's not currently, but he's usually over in China. And he recently they described like a couple new species of frogs. Actually,
Okay.
There was he was on a show not that long ago, and they were talking about it. But
That's awesome.
basically, there was like a genus of frog, several like 100 kilometers from where sort of the original group was from, but they were a completely different species, and that genus has never been found in that area. But they were at like some hotel and just decided to go look around behind it one day and heard a call that they didn't recognize, and so they decided to investigate further, and they ended up finding some frogs, and they took some DNA samples. It turns out they're just completely different species, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. So
that's super.
He's an awesome guy to talk to, especially about Chinese stuff, man. I really enjoyed the episode we did with him a while back.
Yeah, man.
He's
right on. I'll have to dig that out,
man.
Yeah.
You got to get his book. Got to get the book.
Yeah.
Even if like I don't have any Asian rat snakes, but dude, that book is compelling. That book is so cool, man.
Sweet.
And he wrote it. It's Chinese and English in one book. It's just
nice. It's me.
Yeah. No. There you go. Exactly. And like obviously I don't speak Mandarin, but it's so cool to like see how he did it, and the maps and locality photos and the specimen photos, just awesome. And the fact that we like know him, like that's even cooler, you know?
That's badass. Yeah. I'll definitely give that a listen. Check out the book.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
He came down to my house at one point after we did the show and took some pictures of some stuff. And one of the bimaculata that I got from Henry that had died, I had it preserved in some like 100 proof vodka or whatever the like Everclear version was at the liquor store, and it was like put it in a little tiny jar, and I was like, here you go, man, like you want it? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I don't know, he's a cool dude. I enjoyed
That's cool. That's awesome
hanging out with him.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah.
But no, I think it's pretty much just gonna kind of be a whatever is on Nick's mind, and whoever we can get to chat that'll be interesting, and just see what happens. I don't really know. I'm just kind of along for the ride. I'm going to show up.
There's like a whole list of stuff I could think of right now that's like, I would listen to that in a heartbeat. Like the people that did the new phylogenetic tree of Boiga.
Sure.
Hunting them down. And it's just, the list goes on and on.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I love talking to Nick. I mean, he's definitely a strong personality and quite a talker, and that's fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And as much as we break his stones, like the guy's a wealth of knowledge, wealth of knowledge.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, he asked me if I would be interested in being his co-host, and I said, if you let me talk, yeah, I'll do it.
That's good. That's
in the contract.
Yeah. I need at least 40% of the time.
That's awesome. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, it should be a good time. I'm not 100% sure when we're going to be able to debut that, but sometime soon. We have recording scheduled.
I saw another one getting added, and I was like, man, Burke is really a glutton for punishment.
He is, and he keeps getting like smacked by life with COVID and respiratory problems and
dumpsters.
Like, dude, teach me how to do some of this so that you can live. Like, I'm an intern, but you don't use me.
Dude, I'm so bad at multitasking. Like, I can barely use my phone in the bathroom, let alone manage an entire, armada of podcasts.
I love when Eric posts like a little clip of him just like shredding over a blues loop or something. I'm like, oh, good, he's taking a break. He's healing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I've been tempted to add shows to THN, but I just don't know. I think it's tough because it's like, if Burke can do it, surely we can't too. Like, if he can do it, what's our excuse?
Well, you totally could, but he's also a little bit of a freak, let's be honest.
He is a freak. Yeah.
I don't even know if he's listening anymore, but
oh no, he's asleep.
Oh yeah.
Monday, 10:48. No.
Yep.
He has to get ready to get robbed at gunpoint tomorrow.
Oh jeez, don't jinx him.
Don't you gotta wake up early and get that bulletproof vest on.
Oh god. Ugh.
For sure.
Man, I was going to ask you something, Lucas. We were just talking about it. Now I lost my train of thought because we were laughing about Burke and dumpsters with guns. Oh, man.
Sounds pretty Philly to me.
It's very Philly. Very North Philly.
We were talking podcasts. We were talking
Aspaditis. Crap. I don't remember. It was something with you and Nick. I don't remember. Oh, yes. Now I remember. So the fine folks of the Pacific Northwest, the Puget Sound Pythons, the Gendra, they want to know if you're going to make it to Daytona.
Daytona is
August 20th.
Nah, sorry.
Come on, man.
Guys, I can barely afford rent. I can't fly.
Yeah, flights are brutal, dude. It's crazy.
And Dr. Zachy Lofi Dad has to teach me how to do statistics so that I can graduate. So it's going to be a busy couple months for me for the grad school thing too. But yeah,
fair enough.
I would love to go. I'll make
be
it eventually.
Responsible and get an education and shit.
Oh God, I'm like,
how dare you?
I'm already
know,
tens
right?
of thousands of dollars in the hole. I better finish.
You'll make it up in Blackhead
The
babies. Don't
nerve.
worry. How'd you pay for grad school? Blackhead pythons.
Well, sometimes you take out the loan and then they send you a little bit off the top that you didn't actually need all of it. And that's how you buy Westerns, folks.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah.
I'm not responsible, but yeah.
Yeah. Money for textbooks. There are no more textbooks. It's all downloaded. So I'll just buy Ramsey Eye.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited. Somebody's sending me a female Woma that was hatched with one blind eye. And like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Completely fine other than that, but it's a beautiful female, and I'm really excited to get that one in.
Is the eye
man,
like
I just
dead, or is it like scabbed over? Or
it looks fine, but he sent me a funny video where like he could put his hand to one side and the snake would react, and then on the other side is just nothing.
Okay.
But I kind of like that, it's
really
like
quiet.
yeah. Owen's got his one-eyed Maclots. I can get my one-eyed Woma, and
yeah, man.
I don't know. I just Aspodites is they're so freaking awesome. I want to make crazy orange Womas. I want
you to make crazy orange Womas so I can buy them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sunsets, bro. Just sunsets.
It seems like that's something that everyone was really close to just doing really well with, but the market wasn't there. Like I was talking to Artavilas, who had a big hand in all that stuff. He had some incredible animals, and he still does. He just doesn't really do much with them anymore. He's doing a lot with Agurnia and his family, and it's just kind of it's not his focus.
Life.
But what he was telling me is like he was making these crazy orange animals, and nobody gave a shit. They're
Really?
They were like, that's cool, man, but I can buy this other Woma over here for like $200. Like, so see ya. And that sucks. And I think that dissuaded people from really focusing on them. And I think that it didn't really get over a hump in terms of like how crazy they can be. Some people stuck with it for sure and have amazing animals, but there's a lot of dirt ugly Womas because people just kind of, I don't know, I think can fall into the trap of thinking a Woma's a Woma's a Woma.
Yeah.
And not understanding like justifying value in selective breeding.
Sure.
That's how it was with cresteds, man. It was like people would just throw together 2 random ass cresteds and expect them to be like something phenomenal. And
right.
Like, you want to produce phenomenal animals, you gotta have phenomenal parents,
For sure. And with some things more than others.
Yeah.
And I know that for me, Aspodites love Aspodites. They're freaking incredibly amazing. But I got a bad taste when I was like 23 or 24. Somebody gave me a Woma that was like a yearling because it was a psycho. And I was like, I got venomous. I'm fine. I'll take it. And dude, we named him Cuddles because he was such an asshole.
Yeah.
And after a while, I'm like, this is not venomous. I should be able to play with it. I can't because there's just blood all over the carpet. Like I'm done with this animal, and I got rid of it. And I was like, screw the Womas, I'm done. And like Casey Cannon, man, having friends, man, it messes you up because he sends me these pictures of these, creamsicle body with bright neon sunset orange bands, and I'm like, dude, why do we not have these? He's like, we're gonna do it. And I remind myself, I'm like, no, man, that thing bit you all the time. Don't do that. And like I'm conflicted.
They're psychopaths. They're insane. And I love it.
I just like, and I see people on like YouTube. It's like, this is my Woma. It's 10 years old and it's as thick as your arm and it's friendly. And I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah.
You put it in the fridge.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just really hungry, man. They're not mean. They're just...
What? So yeah, I'm very like proud of everything you're doing. And like I told Burke, I'm definitely living vicariously through you on that regard. Like,
oh, thank you.
You need to succeed more. Just do it more.
I appreciate that. I'm definitely not planning on going anywhere, and I hope that we can talk about some some really cool results in a decade or so.
It'll be sooner than that, bro. It'll definitely be sooner than that.
I have some corns that have been possessed by the soul of a Woma because I can't go near them without them trying to eat me.
You know what's funny too is that Western Blackhead pair was so nice when I got them from Dan, and as soon as she laid eggs, no, not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. She almost got my face this morning. I was like,
really
kind of checking on her, seeing how that body condition was coming back, and she lunged at me, mouth open.
Do you think that's like a postpartum thing?
It might be, but the male hates me now too. I don't know what happened.
I think they're colluding.
Yeah, and maybe I feed them less than Dan did. It's possible too, but I don't know. Like,
yeah, I mean, like with Womas, you got to wonder. Like, even if you did feed them more, it's like, would that even really change anything?
With Womas, I don't think it would.
I don't think it would. Like those corns, it's like I could feed them every day, and they're still gonna come flying out of the tub at me because they're looking for food, and I'm like, I feed you. I don't understand. Like, what is like?
The Western I got from Roddy too is just as bad.
Really?
She bit the crap out of me on an Instagram live a couple months ago.
Man,
just didn't let go.
I see that. Even just in the corns, and it just makes me wonder, like, why are those two individuals in particular that aren't even related, like, why are they so psychotic, but everything else is so chill? Like, is it a genetic thing? Is it, I mean, that's kind of the only common denominator I can think of, because like I said, they're being fed regularly.
Yeah.
I think that,
I don't know. I hope they grow out of it, because they're both really pretty snakes, but I'm like, I really,
for sure.
I don't like dealing with you because I know what to expect, and it's
Phil
knows. You always know. You got the Woma thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And they kind of do the nose first, and then just
oh yeah.
But
we call it getting Woma'd. This is it. It's like, oh yeah, this snake's
that there
super
has
chill
to be
as long as its face doesn't touch you.
Yeah, there's got to be some aspect of their disposition being heritable. I mean, I know Loafman will swear by that with the water cobras. Like, he can reliably get personality similar to the parents in his clutches, but I don't know. Maybe it's just kind of different for each species. Like,
because conjures are the same way though. Like, they're always ready to eat. They're always ready for food, but I can take mine out and not have them latch on to me. Like, I don't.
Yeah. It was
Queensland water python does the same shit.
Risty, and that's crazy because like I've got Queenslands and they are literally puppy dogs.
Really?
Oh, yeah, dude, I love my Queenslands, dude. They are so, I mean, they're very food ready. So if I just like open the tub and reach my hand in, I'll probably get whacked. But like if I reach my hand in with like a paper towel or like a hook or something, then dude, they're sweet as pie. But I think someone brought to my attention years ago that the whole Aspideites, chinning you thing, it was always assumed it was kind of like a shark, where like the shark takes a bite to see if you're edible, even though it doesn't necessarily want to kill you or eat you, and it just gets that little bite. It's like, oh,
body, no big deal.
Well, no, but like you hear about that frequently from surfers, divers. They get bit by a smaller shark. They bled, but like they're not, oftentimes not even hospitalized. But that's just because the shark was like taking a test, and I feel like. I want to say like Womas do that. The problem is they forget that they already did it. You know what I mean?
I think it's interesting too. If like my hand here is a Woma head, their heat pit is here,
right
on the underside of the rostrum. So it might have something to do with that too. Like kind of getting that. Oh, they're back.
They're back.
XYZ.
Who are you?
Do you want an Ackie? But yeah, it's interesting for sure. I love them though, that as derpy as they are, it's kind of endearing. This is the first snake that bit me. I got bit by an adult Woma before I owned a snake.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what did it, man. You got the bug.
What did it. Yeah, it turned me into
Spider-Man.
Woma man. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. I was
transformed his DNA.
No, and speaking of the grad school thing too, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not looking into the brittle stuff anymore. Zach and I agreed to switch gears, and I'm working with Dr. Melissa Breton over in Australia, who radio tracked a bunch of womas
Nice.
for her dissertation in the early 2010s. And she's got a bunch of data that she never wrote up, and she's kind enough to share that with me. So my focus now is analyzing that and trying to write up like a thermal ecology paper on
That's awesome.
Brigalow belt womas. So about to get real deep in
cool.
all that. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome.
That's why Zach has to teach me how to do statistics.
Yeah. And then, dude, for you to do a project like that with people that are legit boots on the ground for your school, and it's your favorite genus, like
it's a dream.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
I hope one day to be able to get over there and like go try to find some with her in the wild too. She's just the coolest person.
Nice.
She worked with Steve when he was alive at the zoo. It's like
nice.
It's fascinating to talk to her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super cool, man.
Yeah.
Super cool. Well, boys, are we at the witching hour?
I believe we are before we
These
get
coconuts knocking me out.
Might get surprised, attacked by ambushed by lovechat.xyz again.
Yeah. Oh God, don't.
That's
say
just
their name.
Owen. He didn't want to be spotted in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, he would do something like that.
He told me if I send him the blackhead, he'll give me a hug and one compliment.
I would have at least gotten that and then a pair of like rhinos or something out of it.
What was he? He was trying to trade you something for blacktail crebos. What was that on the last show, on the last Carpets and Coffee?
Oh, dude, I don't even remember. I don't even have blacktail crebos, but he probably said something.
I guess he's
funny.
he's trying to give you unicolors or something.
Oh yeah. And I was like, I don't want your broken snakes anymore. Like,
I gotta ask him if his have teardrops or not, because I was just having a conversation about how no one's paying attention to this, but I guess if you really start going back on posts, anybody who's selling unicolor babies, their facial markings are like changing. And I guess people are starting to breed them with some of the more high pattern ones, and therefore they're losing certain facial cues, which I thought was really interesting. I got to hit him up about that.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, shit, hit him up. He might send them to you.
Oh, man.
A funny man.
He is. We got to get him on here.
It took us like 3 years to get him on THP, but that was really us. That wasn't really him. That was just us finally getting around to it.
Well, Lucas, where can people find Centrillion Exotics?
Yeah. So Centrillion Exotics on all the social media things. I do have a website, www.centrallionexotics.com. I'm trying to get rid of Ackees. And always down to chat snake. So hit me up.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me tonight.
Yeah, dude. Follow Lucas and then follow Puget Sound Pythons on Facebook and Instagram, and then follow BlackBox Cages on Facebook and Instagram, or go check out all the things they have available to make your caging and rack dreams come true. BlackBoxCages.com.
BlackBoxCages.com.
I gotta start shopping for an Ackie cage myself. So
there
nice.
You go.
You're gonna zoopoxy it, Michael Stefani style.
I don't know. I like that stuff, but I also kind of got my fix with dart frogs, and I'm like, I just silicone some bark to the back and call it a day. Like,
get a trough.
I would do that in a heartbeat too. That would be awesome. I'd use that for beadeds though.
Where are we at on the beadeds?
I don't know. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Well, speaking of venomous things, we're going to have another episode of Venom Exchange Radio come out Sunday. It's just a catch-up episode with me and Nip Nip. So check it out. Anywhere podcasts are found, Venom Exchange Radio. And yeah.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I thought Phil froze for a second. I was like, what is he?
No, I'm just letting other people talk.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back for THP on Thursday. Other than that, usual good stuff. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.